Yes, family. Today we are here with the resounding Chef Carlos, a sushi chef who has been in this business for about 16 to 17 years. Chef Carlos, what are you thinking? What are we going to be making today?
Alright, so today on the menu, I'm going to pick out 3 items from my regular Sushi Fridays menu. These 3 items to me resonate like this Christmassy feel, and I just wanted to showcase more of the other items on the menu apart from just the sushi.
So you mentioned Sushi Fridays. What is Sushi Fridays?
Alright, so Sushi Fridays is my once weekly pop-up shop where I do sushi for pickup and delivery, and then we're working towards putting our restaurant in the near future. So Sushi Fridays every Friday. You can hit me up and get your sushi.
Okay, that's exciting. So from your menu of Sushi Fridays, what will we be making today?
Alright, so today we're going to start with our teriyaki wings. Then we're going to move on to our chicken spring rolls, and then we have one of the sushi rolls that I really like. It's one of the newer items on the menu. It's Crazy Horse. That's how I nicknamed it. So it's basically our crab, avocado, and some other ingredients to make it special, yeah?
Today we really have a special edition. So all you sushi lovers out there who love sushi like me, this is exciting. Looking into the actual process of making the sushi, and maybe you can try to make some sushi for yourselves. So let's get right in. What's the first step in making the teriyaki wings that you have on your menu?
Alright, so the first step in making the teriyaki wings, we're gonna get our seasonings, yeah? So we have our local seasonings. We have some garlic, some seasoning pepper, our loin, scallion, carrot, onions, salt, as normal. Yeah?
Alright, I can help you chop it up if you'd like. I can be your sous chef.
Alright, so I went ahead and started without you because I was getting hungry. So this is basically our seasoning right here. So this is everything that we would need in terms of flavor and spices and everything, right? So this is the same ingredients that I showed you earlier, and then we're going to add this to our chicken.
Alright.
So we have our chicken wings right here. We're going to add it to it right here, and then just mix it up nicely, and then add a little salt.
Just about a teaspoon. How
Yeah.
much do you put in there? Okay.
Alright, so depends on how intense you like it flavored. So for me, I'm like more medium-ish. So for me, this is fine. So you then add a little, maybe about a teaspoon of salt or a pinch of salt, depending on how much chicken you're going to be using.
Yeah.
Alright?
So for this portion, we would use
Like
about...
a quarter to a teaspoon of salt.
Alright.
Yeah. And then we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of chili flakes on it just to make it
Spicy.
a little interesting, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to burn your mouth today.
Oh, so this is like a medium wing?
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't want to get it too over there. Make it nice and balanced, you know?
Yeah.
Alright, so we have that here. And we're going to get some flour just to dredge it so that when it fries, it gets nice and crispy. And then we just dip it in the oil, get the oil hot, and then we're going to go on to the next stage.
Okay.
Alright.
Do you ever bake your wings?
You can bake the wings, but for me, when you fry it, the texture will be different.
Definitely, yeah. So you
have the
prefer
crispy
that?
outside and the juicy on the inside, yeah.
Alright. You could definitely see that. Some people are more on the healthy side, so you know they prefer to bake their wings. But frying your wings is definitely a real original. It's a real staple. So let's see. Great.
Alright. So we're just going to heat up the oil for now. And while that's heating up, we're going to dredge our wings.
Now the oil that you're using, there are different flavors that come with the different oils. So for this recipe, what kind of oil, what type of oil will you be using?
So we're going to use an oil with a high smoke point, which means something that can take heat without breaking down. So I have vegetable oil, soybean oil, and it's neutral in flavor, so that we don't want it to change the flavor of the seasonings and stuff that we're putting in our wings.
Yeah.
Alright, to overpower it or change the balance in the flavors.
Yeah, because if you use something like coconut oil, it might have that coconut flavor and it might be too strong and not exactly what you're going for with this recipe. But I'm sure other recipes, coconut oil is a very good oil to use, but for this one especially, I know coconut oil is something we use very commonly in St. Lucia, but the strength of the flavor of that oil might not really be what we're looking for here. Let's see.
Alright, so our wings are nicely marinated. So we're going to just put them into the flour.
It's looking good already. And we can hear some of the chickens outside. They're like, oh my goodness.
We want to get some of this.
My brother.
Alright, so let's let that coat on there.
So wings and sushi. So is this something, since you're really sushi based, is the wing something that we typically see, being served with sushi, or is this something that's unique to you and your restaurant, which is good?
Yeah, so it's not something that's typical with sushi. It's just something I added onto the menu to like have some more diversity.
Right.
So it's not everybody who would want to eat sushi, but you would want to give them, since it's sushi is Japanese, you want to give them something Japanese on the menu still. So that's why we have teriyaki wings, and not just regular wings.
So if you have a friend who's a sushi lover and you want to try Sushi Fridays, there's also something on the menu for you, those of you who might not be too into sushi. So I will say, you're from St. Lucia, right?
Yes.
So, sushi, how did you get into sushi? We want to know.
Alright, so I started my culinary journey while I was still in school. So I would work part-time after school. But then maybe like 3 or 4 years after, when I started working at the Sandals La Talk, and I was at the Japanese restaurant Kimonos, that's where I really dived into the Japanese cuisine and made it my own and made it my specialty.
You just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what happened. So I'm just going to get a plate right quick and put our wings on there. After we dredge it in the flour, just shake off the excess a little bit.
Right.
And then we're going to have some nice, crispy, juicy, yummy wings, yeah?
That's what we're looking for. That's what we're here for today.
Right.
But I'm here more for the sushi side of things. I'm one of the sushi lovers. So
Alright.
we have a lot of wing lovers in St. Lucia, though. We really do.
So put that on the side. And keep that here. So we're going to test to see if our oil has reached temperature. So we can do this in different ways.
Right.
You can check with a thermometer, but the old school way, you just take a little bit of water. If it makes a noise, it's ready. So it's still kind of, so it's not yet there. So we're almost there. Just gonna give it a minute still, right?
What's your favorite dish,
My favorite dish?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Our national dish.
Green pig and saltfish?
Every day, if I could get it every day, I would eat it every day.
Ah.
But not saying I don't like sushi. I love sushi. Sushi is like my second child, but you
gotta stick to a local.
Yeah, St. Lucian to the bone. If I could incorporate like our local ingredients into the sushi as much as I can. So sometimes I would use like ripe plantain, I would use our local avocado, I wouldn't use the imported stuff. So I try my best as much to use like local stuff. The only imported fish that I would use for the sushi would be salmon. The tuna would be locally caught, the snapper would be locally caught, even the mahi-mahi, all these things. So we use Japanese style cooking, but we use all 100% St. Lucian ingredients.
Yeah, because I know the salmon, we can't get that here because they, they climb up the river, they do
it's
their
the cold
thing.
water in the
Yeah,
Atlantic.
they're river fish. They're not really sea fish. So
They do go out in the North Atlantic and the North Pacific. However, only when they spawn, that's when they go up into the river. Alright, so we're gonna put some more chicken there to fry. In the meantime, let that do its thing.
and how long do we leave each side of the chicken to cook?
So, the chicken we would do 7 to 8 minutes per side, but depending on the thickness, we would check it every once in a while with a fork to see if it bleeds or if the juices run. But for now, we are just coming up about 5 minutes now. I have an internal clock, so it's like second nature to me. So we're just coming up on 5 minutes now. So we will turn it in a little while. And some of our prep for our spring rolls, which is the next dish that we want to do. Alright, so Janelle, we're doing some of the vegetables for our spring rolls right now. So we have some cabbage, some carrot, some onions, and one of my favorite ingredients in St. Lucia is our seasoning pepper. Yeah? I like it because sometimes you might get it hot, sometimes you might get it very flavorful. And these type of peppers just have this nice vibe about it that you can't get it anywhere else in the world.
Wow. So originally, learning this recipe, did you originally use these seasoning peppers, or did you use another substitute and you thought, well, this pepper would be perfect in this recipe, why am I using this other thing,
Alright, so my cooking, I do my style. So I learned classical cooking and everything. So when I decided to do my own thing, I decided to do it my way. And I wanted to do things that would like impact flavor and just have its originality and something special that makes Carlos food different from Janelle or Cameraman or anybody or whatever other establishment, so that you know, okay, this is from this guy. So every chef have their own personal style when they're cooking. So this is what I felt, that instead of using something imported, we can use something local and give our food this St. Lucian twist to it.
And seasoning peppers, our local seasoning peppers has a lot to do with our Christmas here. This is a main ingredient in a lot of the recipes that we make for Christmas here in St. Lucia.
We're just gonna slice up our peppers. I don't know if you could smell it from here, but you can smell the flavor of the aroma from the seasoning peppers. I like that, what it does to the food, gives that little edge.
So what's that internal clock saying about the wings?
Alright, so we just turn it. So we're just gonna check on the color. It should be done on the inside. Just gonna give it another turn to make sure that it's cooked and it's nice and crispy, yeah? Looking good, yeah?
It's looking good so far. You know, I always have some trouble in cooking the chicken, fully. Because sometimes you cook chicken, it looks nice on the outside, but inside of it, the bone itself, you might get a little blood. So it's very difficult to really make chicken unless you're a really seasoned expert. So kind of like hearing these tricks that you've told us today, leaving one side for 8 minutes, flipping it the other side, and making sure it gets that color, kind of gives me more information on how to know if your chicken is ready or not. Because
also, when in doubt, leave it in the pan. It's better to have it a little bit over than it's undercooked and then you get sick,
Yeah. And you have like a teriyaki wing. So obviously there's some kind of sauce that's gonna be made.
We're gonna make our teriyaki sauce in a little bit. So I'm gonna just get that going just after I do this.
Alright. I'm seeing a lot of onions being used in this recipe. Is onion kind of like one of these main ingredients that you need to have in the spring roll?
Yeah, so it's basically onion is flavor, So the onion has an amount of sugar so that when it cooks, it would give the depth of flavor to your dish.
Yeah, I normally see a lot of people dice up the onion, but you are cutting them up long,
We're
so
gonna julienne our onions. Alright, so our chicken should be ready.
So the spring roll then is something very healthy because some of the ingredients that you put in the salad I'm also seeing that's going to be inside of the spring roll. So if you're having your sushi on the side of it, the spring roll does add a lot to the healthier side of things. Am I right?
So we have our vegetables for our spring rolls, and it's always a nice healthy option to get some vegetables going when we having our meal. Alright, and then we're going to put the rest of our wings in the oil, and then we're going to start our teriyaki sauce in a bit.
So right now we're going to be taking a break and we'll be right back. Of simple recipes, but there's a lot of prep work going on in between these recipes.
Yeah, so with my cooking, I like to do homemade sauces, homemade stuff. So I don't do much store-bought stuff, store-bought sauces and bottle things. And even if I do, I still like to add a little kick, a little flair, a little something to it. So we're gonna move on to do our teriyaki sauce for our wings, yeah?
Right. I was waiting for this part.
Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 ingredients. So we have here a gastric. Gastric is basically vinegar and sugar 1:1. So we have brown sugar. Brown sugar is the best. Some regular vinegar, and then we have some spices what I boiled and reduced to intensify the flavor, and then we have good old garlic. Alright, so the garlic, that's my way. I crush the garlic and easy breezy, beautiful.
So the spices you have, what's the selection for these spices?
So we have some star anise, some bay leaf, cinnamon, and clove. So we're gonna get some garlic going for that. Chop up some garlic. Add our ingredients, some soy sauce and teriyaki sauce, and make our wings.
All right. It looks like I saw a star anise in there. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I didn't see properly.
Yes, that is a star anise. Yeah.
Okay.
So just gonna chop up our garlic.
So usually for Christmas, how do you celebrate?
Christmas, old-fashioned way, with family, friends, get together, we cook, we eat, and have a good time, you know. So your Christmas ham, your turkey, traditional St. Lucian Christmas, you know.
All right. Do you ever spend a Christmas without family, or is it always you always spend Christmas with your family?
Yeah, it's normal for me with the family. If I'm not on island at the moment, then we'll do our Christmas over video call.
All right. Not on island. Do you travel often, Chef?
Yeah, so for work and experience, I travel a lot for work, so I get to see around the world and experience new things. And I had the opportunity in being in Japan and having Japanese certified my sushi, saying that it's very good. So,
All right. Do you travel there by boat or air?
depends. If it's a work, I will be by boat.
Oh, you work on a boat?
Yeah, so I did at one point.
Right.
And then I do some by plane. If I go on vacation, I take a trip with my family or whatever. So this is the garlic chopped up nicely.
And how is that working on the cruise ship? You know, is it like you constantly cooking? Is it, have you done sushi or do you do other things?
Yeah, so I did sushi on the cruise ship. So that's how I was able to like hone in on my skill and perfect it. So working in the whole different hotels in St. Lucia and also having more experience on the ship. So that's why I was able to dive into it and really make it my specialty.
And you've never spent Christmas on the cruise ship, have you?
I have. I've spent it at home, I've spent it on the ship. It all depends on how things go, you know.
Is there something special that you guys have done on the ship for Christmas?
Yeah, they always do this, how do you call it? I forget the name. I'm seeing it in my head. This, the Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker.
Right, so it's basically this British thing that they do the Nutcracker, then you have the chocolate fountains, and then you have the ice carvings, and then they have all these different Santa Claus and Frosty the Snowman and all these different things that we would decorate and do like fruit carvings and stuff, and it would be a big scene, big theatrics, and then the elder guests would be around taking pictures, and it'd be really cool.
That sounds like a wonderful season. I mean, ice carvings, chocolate fountains. It sounds like a winter wonderland over there.
Yes.
Right.
Alright, so we're going to start with our garlic. Put our garlic in the pot right here.
Are you going to saute this?
Yeah, so we're going to cook it lightly.
On a low temperature or on
Yeah,
high
so
temperature?
we're just going to cook it lightly. Just sweat it out just a little bit. We don't want to overcook it, or we don't want it to burn as well. I'm just going to put this here. So while this is going, just put a little bit of oil. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of oil. Just let it slightly cook, because if it's like too cooked, the garlic flavor will subside. It will be very mild.
What is teriyaki specifically for those of us that might not know?
So teriyaki is roast. So the latter part, the latter two syllables in teriyaki, yaki means to roast or to cook on open flame. So the teriyaki is basically like a Japanese style barbecue sauce. So
Right.
it's soy based, and then you add some sugar, some mirin, which is a Japanese cooking wine, and then I'll allow it to cook down, and then you have teriyaki sauce. Yeah. All right. So our garlic is starting to heat up. All right. We're gonna add some of our gastric. Looking good. And then we're gonna add some of our spice stock. Just a little bit. And then when that comes up to a boil, we're gonna add a little brown sugar, a little soy sauce to make it into a teriyaki sauce.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Then lightly thickened with some cornstarch. As if you're doing like home cooking, it would be very to your. It would be beneficial to you.
Would be
That
to your
if-
advantage.
Yeah, to your advantage that if you can make it at home and not having to source expensive items and.
Now, the shelf life of this sauce that you're making, is it something that is a use one sauce, or is it something that you can maybe preserve in some way, refrigerate, freeze, or does it stay by itself?
It can stay by itself because it has a lot of preservatives to it, like natural preservatives with sugar and salt. Sugar and salt is things that they use to pickle items naturally. So
As well as the vinegar as well, right?
As well as the vinegar from the gastric. So there's no artificial flavors or preservatives in there. So as it comes to the boil, we're gonna add a little bit of soy sauce.
And you did mention this Japanese wine that is used in the teriyaki sauce. Do you have a substitute for that?
There's no substitute for it. I haven't been able to come up with any substitutes for it per se.
But this tastes just the same.
It tastes just the same.
Right.
Yeah. So just adding the sugar and the other items will be able to get you that flavor, although it might be missing that little but it's good enough. It's just as good. So now when the sugar dissolves, we're gonna put a little bit of cornstarch to thicken it, and then we have our teriyaki wings.
Bam, just like that.
You wanna give me a taste test?
Sure.
Tell me what you think of.
And this tastes just like teriyaki sauce.
That's cool.
Because I've been to Kobe's. You know that Japanese restaurant, Kobe's?
I've heard of it. I've never been to that. But
Yeah, they make a sauce there, and this tastes exactly like the sauce that they make there.
Yeah, no, I'm legit,
Definitely.
There we go. There we go. That's it.
Let's see. Are we gonna still cook it on the low fire?
Yeah, so we're just gonna let it simmer still and allow it to thicken up a little bit because we just added some cornstarch to it. It's gonna thicken up and get nice and sticky.
Saucy.
Yeah, so you want it to be able to bind to the chicken nicely as
Like
well.
a syrup. Okay, that's a very good point. For some reason, I expected it to be slightly spicy. I expected you to add some kind of pepper to it. I don't know why. I think you tricked me with those red peppers.
That was in the marinade for the chicken. So the chicken is going to have a little heat and the sauce is going to be a little sweet. So we have sweet and spicy. And like, be that wow.
It's a nice blend.
Alright, so we're going to take our chicken,
Right.
put it into the bowl,
Alright.
and then we're going to pour the sauce over it and mix it, and then we're going to plate it and
It's very crispy.
that's what I wanted.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah. The crispier it is, the better.
Like as you can hear, I'm picking it up and you're hearing that crunch.
Alright, so we have wings, we have teriyaki sauce. We put them together and then we have teriyaki wings.
That is beautiful.
Are you talking about me or the food?
Oh, and the color of the teriyaki sauce is matching the color of the chicken. It's a very dark recipe. I hope it doesn't have any evil attached to it.
No, it's all good here, all good. Alright, that's done.
That looks beautiful. Okay, we are going to move on to our spring rolls and get everything ready. Be right back with that. Thank you, those viewing at home, for joining us back into our sushi and spring roll teriyaki wing making with Chef Carlos here, our sushi chef. Right now, we're moving on to the spring roll section. We are going to marinate those chicken breasts for the spring roll with some teriyaki sauce you mentioned to me, Chef.
Yeah, so we have some chicken breast here. And the same marinade that we use for our wings, we're going to use for the chicken. So this has been sitting here in this marinade for a little while. So we're going to fry it off, then chop it up, mix it in a little bit of the teriyaki sauce, the same one we made earlier. And then mix it with the sauce, add some vegetables to get some more texture. And we'll roll it up and we're going to fry it in a bit. Yeah? So
let's dive right in.
Alright, so I'm going to fry it without flour. So we just take your time. Alright.
Without the flour because you don't want that crunchy
Yeah,
taste.
we don't want that extra breading on there. Because we just want it to be able to cook and then it will absorb the sauce on its own. Yeah? So while that's doing its thing, we're going to make a sauce, another sauce for our spring rolls. This time we're going to make sweet chili sauce.
Sweet chili sauce.
So a lot of our sushi fans out here, they know what the sweet chili sauce is. So sweet chili sauce is originating from Thailand, and it's basically chilies, garlic, some spices, and we're going to use a little bit of a gastric to get the sweet taste and the balance of the acidity, and then we just thicken it with a little cornstarch to get it to that right consistency. Yeah. All right. So here we have our same stock with our spices, the star anise. And then we're going to add a little bit of a gastric to there, the gastric that we made earlier. And then we're going to add some water and some of our seasoning blend just to give it a little more flavor. Alright? And then we'll bring that to a boil. And then we will add some chili flakes and then finish it off.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah. Then for sure, this whatever you order for your event, I will make it happen.
What did we just add here?
Alright, so we just added a little bit of the cornstarch so that as soon as this comes up to a boil, it will thicken, and then we're going to put a little bit of our chili flakes to make it into a sweet chili sauce.
Alright.
Yeah. So I'm just going to taste it.
And see what it tasted like. I also have another question. Now we have the chicken breast here. It's a bit thicker than the wing. We're not using that batter, that shell that you made here. So are the cooking times gonna be different for this chicken breast?
Yep. So the thicker the meat, the longer it would take to cook on the inside. So all we're really looking for is the internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That would mean that the chicken is fully cooked on the inside and void of all harmful bacteria. Yeah? So I just add a little bit more brown sugar because we need some more sweetness. Yeah, so we're just going to turn them. We have 4 nice pieces of chicken breast right here. Just let that cook. And our sweet chili sauce, we have it bubbling away. And then we're going to start doing something else in the meantime, right?
Take us away.
Alright, so we're going to start, give ourselves a little bit of a head start. We're going to start cooking our rice for our sushi. Alright?
Now this rice, is this specifically sushi rice?
Yes, so you could try other rice varieties, but it won't work. It won't work the same way because the sushi rice, the Japanese rice, has a certain amount of starch in it that will make it sticky, and then the size of the grain also allows it to stick to itself, and the flavor of the rice is also different from if you had to use long grain rice or basmati rice. Yeah. Alright, so we're back and we're going to start cooking our sushi rice in the meantime so that we get everything going so that we can have lunch on time, right, Jay? Alright, so we have our Japanese rice here. So we have about a cup of rice, cup and a half of rice. I'm going to cook like 1 cup of rice. And to that, we're going to add a cup and a half of water. Alright, so before we add the water, we're going to wash off the rice, wash off the excess starch off the rice so that when it cooks, it doesn't become too sticky. So you want some loose grains in it.
We added in those chili flakes, right?
Yeah, so we're going to add, if you don't mind, lending a hand.
Sure.
Add a little bit of the chili flakes, maybe about half a teaspoon of that.
Half a teaspoon.
So the rice, I'm washing the rice at least 3 to 4 times until the water just clears up. So while you add that, I'm doing this over here.
Like you told me, they put a lot of starch in that sushi.
Alright, so we're going to check on our chicken breast.
That's been in there for about
15 to 18 minutes. 20 minutes if they're really big. So sometimes if they're like really big, you could just slice them, like butterfly them and make it thinner so that it cooks faster. These smaller ones look done. So we're just going to chop them up quickly. Nice and cooked on the inside, nice white meat. I'm just going to chop it up quickly, and then we have some teriyaki sauce that we made earlier. We're just going to dump it in there and mix it up.
drench it in that.
Yeah, make it soak up
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting hungry. You know, all this cooking, my belly is grumbling. I'm feeling that in my stomach. Chef, what about you? You're not getting that?
Oh yeah.
The smell of all these foods, down to the peppers. We have the spices, we have the chicken, and we have all these delicious sauces. And let me tell you, it's not easy.
It's not easy being a chef, having all this food in front of you. So much temptation.
Are we gonna be frying the spring rolls?
Yep, we have to fry the spring rolls as well.
Okay, you want me to leave that fire on, that fire going?
We'll put it on low and just leave it low for now, as soon as we're gonna start rolling our spring rolls right away.
Right.
So we have our chicken marinated and fried, or you could bake it if you don't want to use too much oil. You could bake it as well, the chicken breast. Marinate it the same way, and then your salt, your seasonings, however you like to season it, if you have peppers and onions, garlic, whatever you like. And then you could bake it or you could fry it. And then we have our vegetables that we cut up earlier. So we have our cabbage, onion, carrot, our seasoning pepper, nice, everything, nice blend. Everything looking good. Alright, so we have our third bowl here. We're gonna add some chicken to it, some vegetables to it. So we have it balanced 50-50 chicken and vegetables. Right now we're going to switch from utensils to our hat.
Because we're going to be using our hands here for that.
Alright, so before we start rolling, we're going to make our glue to stick our spring rolls.
Glue! Yeah. Alright, so this is going to keep it from falling apart like I mentioned earlier.
Exactly. So our sweet chili sauce is ready.
Perfect.
Alright, so we have a little flour. We're going to use a fourchette, a fork, and put a little bit of water. Add a little water and flour to make our glue to stick our spring rolls. Some people use egg, but I prefer the flour. The flour works better.
Yeah.
In case you have somebody who has an egg allergy.
That's very important too. And the taste might be a little different because normally they use eggs for pastries. You know, you're doing a pastry, you use that egg
wash, yeah.
Stick it together.
So, alright, so we have our flour pop there, our glue, and then we're gonna get our spring roll shells. Spring roll shells. They have different brands and different types, but this is the one I like. These ones work the best.
The Wuchon.
Red and yellow spring roll shells. That's how I call it.
I'm trying to pronounce the brand.
So, this is my technique. I put it laid out flat like a diamond. Alright? Then we're gonna mix up this chicken and vegetables.
Are we gonna be putting the sauce on there or the sweet chili sauce?
Outside.
Okay.
So for dipping.
Oh.
So we have our vegetables, our chicken. Alright? So we have diamond shape. We put it at the lower part of the diamond.
Right.
We roll, tuck, and roll. Then we fold the ends. So make it look like a little envelope. And at the end, we put our glue. And ta-da!
I need to try that because you're making it look too easy.
Alright.
And we're gonna put it in a diamond shape.
Yeah, lay down diamond.
Let me see if I get the right amount of what I'm gonna be using. A bit too much?
A little too much, but it's okay. That's yours.
Alright.
You like it thick, right?
No comment. Okay, so
roll and tuck. Right. Fold the ends.
Tuck.
Right.
Fold our ends in.
Continue. Roll. Tuck.
Roll, tuck, roll, tuck.
Then put your glue. There we go.
There we go. And look at the sides. It really looks like it's folded in a special way. The way that the sides look are almost identical.
Very good. Recently, I was reading this newsletter that they're having robots in the fast food chains in the States right now. Alright, so I think our oil is ready. And we're going to start frying our spring rolls.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at the positive side of things. I remember watching Willy Wonka, that movie, and then the father working in a factory, his job gets taken. I think he was working in a toothpaste factory. This robot now is closing that toothpaste, and he lost his job. And then towards the end of the movie, you actually see that father being employed to fix this robot when it breaks. So maybe the tedious parts of things are gonna be taken away, but there's also a lot of more opportunities with these additional technologies for other positions. So that's really nice.
Alright, so we have our... We're going to put it a little high so we can fry and get crispy.
It already is looking very crispy already. I mean, I always wondered kind of how is it made crispy? Is it baked? Is it fried? I always wondered about these spring rolls, so it's really nice to really
you
see.
can bake it, you can fry it. Both ways would do it as well. If you don't want to use as much oil, and that's the way you want to go. It's totally cool. You can bake it as well. So while this is baking,
about how long we're gonna leave this to do its thing?
I've never really timed it. I just watch it and just make sure that it's crispy on both sides. So while this is going, we're going to season our sushi rice to make our sushi roll. Alright, so we have our rice. I'm just going to fluff it up. Rice looking good. Just put some teriyaki chicken on the side and eat that rice right there.
Chef, I think you're too hungry right now.
And then we have our sushi vinegar. This is a rice wine vinegar, sugar and salt. And we just use that as our basic marinade for our rice every time we make our sushi rice. Yeah.
So this marinade is used a lot, in your kitchen. It's something that you need. You can't do without.
Yeah. Alright, so there we go. We have our sushi rice ready to go. Yeah. And I'm just gonna cover it. Before we cover it, we're going to put a little bit of tissue on the top so that when the steam condenses, it doesn't fall back in the rice and make it soggy. Alright, put this on the side. And we'll continue frying our spring rolls. We're just going to turn them, let the other side cook nice and crispy. See, nice and golden brown. So then if you have one of those big industrial fryers, it might take a little shorter time and you get to cook more at once. Alright, so we have some tissue to drain the oil when our spring rolls are ready. They're almost there, looking good already.
And while this is frying, you remember the fire was on low initially. Do we bring the fire higher when it's cooking?
Yeah, so you cooking the spring rolls, you want it to get nice and crispy, so you put it on a higher fire to get it shell crispy, because the insides are already cooked, the chicken is cooked. and the vegetables. Doesn't take much heat to get cooked. Basically, the vegetables are steaming themselves on the inside in their own juices, and the chicken is already marinated, and that juice is mixing, and all these seasonings and flavors are blending in, while the shell is getting nice and crispy. See? Hear that? Alright, we're there.
I like that. I like that.
So we're gonna fry the last batch.
Put these to fry, and we're gonna make our sushi. Chef, I have been meaning to tell you that this is the finale for me. The actual sushi making. This is something I woke up this morning very excited to see this specific process. So I'm elated. I'm elated. Let's see.
All right. So like I told you, we're gonna use a lot of local ingredients in our cooking.
What roll are we making today?
So we have my version of the Benihana Crazy Horse sushi roll. So we're going to make it St. Lucian style by adding our fried ripe plantain. Peel the plantain. And then we're going to have some locally sourced avocado. You see that nice color in there. Sometimes
Is this your favorite sushi recipe? I've been meaning to ask.
oh yeah, it's one of my favorites. The best seller actually is the one you mentioned to me about earlier, the roly-poly.
Oh, the one I would like to try that roly-poly
Make
really
your order for
soon.
next Friday, and then we'll hook you up.
This Friday, I'm gonna make my order. I can't be waiting too long for that. You know.
All right, so we have our avocado. We're just going to just slightly slice it, and that's our avocado for our sushi roll. Then we're going to prep our plantain. So cut it lengthwise, and then cut it again. So the reason I'm cutting it lengthwise is that it's one length of plantain is in the sushi roll. Alright. So that's that. You just might as well do all.
Crazy Horse. Where did that name come up from?
Just crazy, you know, something something different, so that we have you know, something interesting on the menu.
Yeah. You know, the
Right.
plantains, the local plantains being in this recipe. This Christmas feeling that we're getting from the sushi. I'm really loving it. I'm really loving how, you know, we can try new things and blend different cultures together
Exactly.
in our celebrations this season. I'm curious to know, what are you guys' plans for the Christmas holiday, viewers? What are you guys planning to do this Christmas with your families, with your friends? You know, what's going to be happening around the house, around the community this Christmas season? We're very curious to know what you guys are planning.
Alright, so our spring rolls are almost ready, or they should be ready. Give it a minute again on the underside. We're just gonna make a little space and fry our plantains. You like fried plantains, right?
Come on, I'm not a Lucian if I don't love fried plantain.
That's it.
Sapavwe.
Alright, so we have our crab meat, our avocado. It's a raw plantain, but we have some fry in there. We're going to take care of them in a little bit. And then onto the sushi rolling.
We got our sushi rolling board.
So we have our sushi mat, or as you say in Japanese, the makisu. It's a bamboo. I just line it up with some plastic wrap so that it doesn't stick to the rice. You know how sticky the sushi rice gets. Alright, so we're going to check on our stuff.
And this is made from bamboo.
Yes, it is.
We are more than ready. We're ecstatic.
Okay, so we have our sushi nori. Take one sheet, place it on the bamboo board. Alright. Just gonna wet my hands a little bit so that the rice doesn't stick to my hands.
I'm seeing a lot of the stuff you have, it's long.
Yeah, so the longness is so that it could line up in the roll, so when I roll it, it wouldn't fall out. Alright? Alright, so this is hot. I know I'm strong, but I'm not that strong. Alright, so we're gonna get some rice. Alright. Spread it.
Okay, you want it to be a sheet.
Yeah, spread it in like a sheet form so that when we roll in, we have layers of rice.
I can see the stickiness, the sticky texture that you were talking about,
Exactly.
having it stick together and the starch in there.
We're gonna get some sesame seeds, sprinkle, sprinkle.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
And then we're gonna invert this. The little bit I put on the side is just so that our ingredients can sit nicely. Alright? So we have our crab. We're gonna cut our crab. Put it here. Put it here. Take our avocados, our zaboka. Put it here. Let's line it up nicely. Our avocado is very ripe. You can see how soft it is. But it's not too soft. I like that. Alright. So we have our crab, our avocado. We have our fried plantains. And that's it. So we're ready to roll.
Alright. What's the technique here?
So, same as we did in the spring rolls. Roll and tuck, roll and tuck. So we use the bamboo mat to guide us. So put it up here, roll, and tuck, roll, and tuck. And then we shape our sushi.
Okay.
Tuck the ends. And that's it. Sushi roll.
And will we be cutting it into pieces?
Yeah, so we're going to cut it in pieces, but let me do another one for, our cameraman.
Okay. I mean, I would love to try to see if I can put it together, of course.
Alright, very good, very good.
I want to see, we want to kind of see how a beginner would do making a sushi roll.
Alright, so since the rice is a bit warm, I'll do the layering for
It's
you.
fine, it's fine. I want that experience. You know, we want that experience of how many scoops do I put in here?
Let's say about 4.
Okay.
Then you wet your fingers so that when you layering out the rice, it doesn't stick to your tips of your fingers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me do that. Just wet it slightly. so it doesn't stick. Alright. And then we just press it on and spread it out.
Yeah.
But we have to leave some space in the front. It's very hot. I definitely feel what you were talking about earlier.
The stickiness of the rice.
It feels very sticky, very warm. Let me see. And it has to be all this right here. It needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me help you out.
Okay.
So we're not pressing, we're just layering the rice.
Oh, okay.
So you don't press like that, we just lay it's the tips of our fingers and just spread the rice.
Spread it up. Spread it all around.
Not bad for a beginner.
I had some help. Okay, so right now we flip it over.
Flip it. Oh, not the mat, just the nori.
Okay.
There you go. Good job. There you go. And then we're gonna get our plantains. So 2 pieces.
2 pieces.
And we're gonna get our crab meat. Three pieces.
And then the avocado, we're gonna layer at the front. I think I might need to cut it a bit.
Got another piece for you.
Okay. A very delicate procedure, I must say.
Yeah.
You know, even in the flipping, if you flip it wrong, it can
it's-
fall apart very
Yeah.
easily. So
just get the rest of this.
this piece we have at the end here.
Let me get it for you. Yeah. Good job. I could hire you as my sous chef.
Of course. Oh boy. And then we're gonna take another piece here.
Let's take this like this.
Okay.
There we go.
Put that in there. Now it's time for the rolling.
Ready
as
to
you
roll?
told me.
All right. There we go.
So I
Remember
would
what
need.
I taught you.
I remember. I
Roll
gotta
and
hold
tuck.
it together. Roll and tuck is
Yeah.
all is part of the technique.
Right.
I rolled
Tuck. Right.
and then I roll again, continue rolling
And tuck
and tuck it in.
again.
Let me see. Roll and
Good.
tuck.
All right. Let's see.
Let's see if it came out. Oh, it's beautiful. It's
Good job,
lovely.
good job,
Oh, very happy. Okay.
All right. Good job. There's still hope for you yet. All right. So sprinkle our sesame seeds.
Sesame
You can do it
seeds
before
on
or
there.
after.
Now this sushi is a messy recipe. You know, we're getting avocado stuck in on all our fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna wipe up our board now. Alright, so we have something nice. We just found out our cucumbers, some small decorations, basic decorations that we do for Japanese cooking or fruit carving, fruit and vegetable carving, simple stuff. Alright, so we're going to move on to slicing our sushi rolls. So this is your roll. Looks slightly bigger than mine, I must say.
Oh.
And so basically sushi roll, we're going to cut it in 8 pieces. Alright, so first we're going to cut it in half, then each half in half, and then each half in half, which will give you
8.
8. Very good. Very good at math also.
I cannot be lacking on the on the television. I can't be
so-
caught lacking.
Half. See? And half. Then half. That's it.
Now look at how colorful it is on the side. And tell me if that doesn't remind you of Christmas. We have the green, we have the white, we have the red, and we also have the yellow. You know, so this is giving us exactly that Christmas season feel that we so desperately need. Alright.
Alright, so we're plating up. So we're going to layer it out like this. Yep. We're gonna slice the other one as well. The more the merrier, right?
And the oversized one that you make, you slice it differently.
The same 8 slices, but then it's thicker. Yeah. Alright, so we have this here, and then we're going to add our crab mixture.
Okay, we're gonna garnish it.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how we're gonna do this part. You know, this is very much a part of all the magic that you do as a chef.
Alright, so I'm just gonna lay it on top, but not to block the colorfulness of the inside of the maki. So this is going to add to the visual aesthetics of the roll and not take away from it.
I'm very glad we have Chef Carlos's expertise here, showing us exactly how he creates this beautiful crazy horse, looking crazy and delicious at the same time.
Crazy delicious.
However possible. Now I kind of see the crab you put in the middle. It very much looks like the hair on the horse's back.
Exactly.
And I remember you mentioned to me that's the crazy part. So we're really getting that there. It looks stunning. I really like the vegetable decorations. I like the coloring. This is a perfect recipe. And we're not even done yet. We still have to add our scallion on top, which has been so delicately placed by Chef. You know, you put the del in delicacy.
I try my best.
You really put the delicate in delicacy.
Some finesse, you know. There we go.
And that is our crazy horse. Guys, I'm sorry, but I can't wait to dive in and taste this. So we're gonna take a quick break right now and we'll meet you back for tasting. I trust you, it would not take long. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, everyone. So everything has been plated. Look at our teriyaki chicken. It has the scallions on there.
Sesame seeds with teriyaki sauce. We have our spring rolls with our homemade sweet chili sauce, and our crazy horse sushi roll, our soy sauce on the side. So typically sushi is accompanied with sake or white wine, as we have here. As the Japanese would say, kenpai.
Kenpai.
Cheers.
Right.
All right. So where do you want to start?
So we could start with whatever we made first. We could start with the teriyaki chicken.
All right.
And we're gonna be very traditional. We're gonna use our chopsticks. So let's.
Thank you for the food.
Let me grab one right here. One of these teriyaki chickens. And then...
I'll give you the honor of having the first bite.
Sure.
I think that's a good sign, right?
It's very crispy and crunchy. So I'm crunching, I'm trying to get through to it. It has a very delicious flavor. And that barbecue texture is also there as well. And the sesame seeds, it has another crunch to it. So this is a very, very crispy recipe. So would you like to try our spring rolls?
Alright. So you get your spring roll.
Right.
And spring roll is finger food, so you don't need chopsticks for that.
Okay.
You get one spring roll. And then you dip it in your sauce and have a bite.
So normally you would get that sweet chili dip for this recipe.
Yeah, so when we sell this on our Friday menu, it comes already with our homemade sweet chili sauce.
This is absolutely irresistible. The flavors that are packed here are very immense. We have that sweet chili, we have that teriyaki sauce that's the chicken is dipped in, and we also have these vegetables. So, you know, this is eating healthy in a delicious way.
Flavorful, yeah.
So, this is awesome.
Now, before we go to our sushi, we're going to wash it down with a little white wine, yeah?
How do they say it in Japan?
Kenpai.
Kenpai. Wash that down a bit here.
Alright,
And
so
finally,
la piece de la resistance. We have our sushi, our soy sauce on the side. So I give you the honor to have the first go at our...
I'm excited. Now, this soy sauce, do I drip it on there or do I dip the sushi in the soy sauce?
Traditionally, you dip the sushi in the soy sauce. But then, at the end of the day, it's your food. You paid for your food. You eat it how you like.
All right.
So we go
I'll
with
try to do it the traditional way. Hopefully it doesn't break apart for me. Let's see. Dip it in the soy sauce. The different flavors of this recipe come together perfectly. You know, we have that sweetness of the ripe plantain, that soft texture of the avocado, and it's perfectly ripe, as well as that meaty crab flavor. You know, I wouldn't even call this a crazy horse because it's made perfectly. It's made to perfection. Chef, could you tell us a bit more about where we can find you? Because after having this delicious meal, come on, I need to try it again. The people out there need to try it again.
Alright, so you could contact me on WhatsApp to put in your orders every Friday at 712-3146. And you could check out our Instagram page, Sushi Fridays. And I hope to see you guys every Friday.
Thank you guys so much for joining us in this episode of Manger Noel with Chef Carlos. Thank you so much for joining us, Chef. And we will see you guys on to the next episode. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.